Welcome to the Gruber Morning Show, our weekly artificial intelligence podcast. And this one today deals with Sora, the main theme. Sora is a video AI capability that created by OpenAI. And there will, of course, be many more AI functions that will be replicating this kind of capability. But Sora essentially significantly lowers the barriers to entry for video creation. It allows more people to produce content without traditional resources like high end cameras or large crews or on location shooting, even. And of course, this could lead to a surge in independent filmmaking and personalized content. The image behind me, I asked AI to generate its interpretation of Sora for me. And as often is the case, it took me dozens of tries before I got this. And so if you see the robot looking image behind me, that would be AI's interpretation of what Sora does in an AI or in a video creation function. So, will there be job disruption? Oh, absolutely. Job displacement, they call it as well, in roles such as storyboard artists, not going to need those anymore, VFX artists, and even some acting positions for extras. Remember, AI can generate realistic human looking extras in any kind of a setting, whether it's static images or now with Sora in videos or in movies. And as Sora generates scenes, backgrounds, and even simple character interactions from text prompts, it might also create new job categories. Now, this is where we should all be paying attention, such as AI prompt engineers or AI content supervisors. In other words, instead of script writers doing the creative work, they would actually then transition to creating prompts that then let AI run loose and create something. The cost and efficiency factors are enormous because this technology can drastically reduce production costs, time, potentially enabling smaller teams or individuals to produce Hollywood level visuals. Obertowski's joining us. Thank you. Hello. How are you doing? So, this would lead to a shift where production focuses more on post prompt editing, sound design, and narrative coherence rather than on set filming, which is, of course, the way it's traditionally been done and which is where the majority of expense is. Now, there are some downsides. It's not a perfect science yet. They say while Sora can generate impressive visuals, it currently struggles with maintaining consistent characters and coherent narratives over longer segments. This means that human creativity remains essential for storytelling, particularly in a complex narrative or character development. Major studios, they're not going away immediately. They might also integrate Sora to streamline pre-production or for specific tasks like creating stock footage or visual effects, and potentially leading, of course, to new production methodologies. Overall, they say Sora's impact has been transformative, and it happened overnight, if you remember. A year ago, we didn't have anything like this. So, for those of you interested, Sora, I believe, is available. Jesse, you'll have to help me with this. Was there a false start? Is it now available to anybody that wants to subscribe?
Yes, you just go to Sora.com.
Sora.com. There you have it. All right. Got some images here for you. There's a company up in the Bay Area that is actually actively promoting their technology. The company's called Artisan. And this billboard, I think, says it all. Artisans won't complain about work-life balance. And if you notice, there's what appears to be a homeless person down below the billboard. And there are many other billboards like this. Let's go through some of them and see what they've been posting. Here's another one. Artisans won't come to work hungover. The era of AI employees is here. All right. Let's see what else they've been posting. And these are all over San Francisco, apparently. Oh, here's a strong one. Stop hiring humans. Interview Ava, the AI BDR. I'm not sure what BDR stands for. Anybody here know? I should have looked that up before the podcast. My apologies. But there's a phone number if you're interested in Artisan, and of course a website.
Business Development Representative.
Thank you, Cass.
Yeah.
BDR. Sounds like it could be a new acronym. Now here's the big billboard. Check this one out. Pretty strong statements. And you know, this has to be disconcerting to the humans that are viewing this while driving to work on the freeway.
The eyes are terrifying.
On that billboard?
Yeah, it's just terrifying.
Yeah, let's put that back up and see what's got cast wigged out here. They're glowing, yes. This used to be the alien look in the last century in the first generation alien movies. The eyes were usually glowing in some way, especially with red lasers. All right. So there you have it. In San Francisco, it looks like there are going to be other companies cropping up like this that are going to boldly go where no one has gone before and say, stop hiring humans, and probably point out all the human weaknesses, bathroom breaks, lunch breaks, vacations, salary requirements, hungover Monday mornings, for example, work-life balance demands. And then, of course, not being able to work 24 by 7. Which the machines are certainly capable of doing. Now, there was got another image for you here, and there are casualties in the AI space from time to time. This one is a AI robot companion called Moxie, which was designed to help teach social skills to children. It's being discontinued. The company lost funding. A lot of these startups are dependent on investment capital. And so the people that bought this for their kids spent $800 for this AI robot, and now the company is shutting down, and children are having to say goodbye. Which, by the way, I think is the next gold rush. The accelerated learning of children could be enhanced by artificial intelligence, especially packaged in something like this that is comforting to children. My granddaughter loves watching Cocomelon on Netflix, and she's obsessed with it. And watching it, it definitely resonates with the toddlers. She's 2 years old now. AI can certainly cater to that market as well. All right, so photographers, let's talk about that for a moment. While most people are debating whether AI will replace photographers, it won't replace those that embrace it. And here's some of the reasons. The areas where replacement is unavoidable is no physical studio is going to be needed for photographers in the future. We have AI. The studio settings can replicate various types of backgrounds. It's what we do with our green screen. If you saw what was going on in our studio here, that image behind me is a completely AI-generated image. What's behind me is a green curtain that's hanging there. The same thing that your local news station uses when they do the weather. And it's always hilarious when one of the studio people or the talking heads is wearing green, because it's going to show up as something invisible, like this little green swatch that I carry around just to prove that we operate with green screen. So another thing that won't be required, no expensive camera gear. Nothing to hold you back anymore. With AI, you can actually ask it to dial in certain types of camera settings, certain types of lenses. And it will replicate anything that you ask it to do. So your equipment budget is going to be much smaller. No geographic limitations. There's a good one. It will work with anyone, anywhere. And all you do is with prompts, dial in the background scenery that you want, whether it's in the Maldives, whether it's on top of the Alps in a, snow-covered peak. You name it, tropical setting, inside, on the fringe or on the outskirts of a volcano. It can do all of that. The potential is just massive for photographers. And here's another sobering thought. Typically, certain types of photography sessions are on location and oftentimes events such as a wedding. Well, you really don't have to do that anymore as AI begins to replicate. You could essentially, as a photographer, collect images at the wedding party's home, and then from there, let AI put all the pieces together, the settings, the poses, all of that. So, and of course, on any location. So your entire wedding party could go to Europe, for example, for that wedding without actually taking the trip. All right, this last week, apparently OpenAI has been introducing some Christmas gifts, and it's called the OpenAI's Projects tool. It enables users to curate and structure files and conversations within customizable folders. We've been getting one of these every day now, and Jesse, you're going to have to help me here. Is it over now, or is it still going on? Are we still within the 7-day window?
I'm not sure. I have to check. Give me a sec.
Okay. So since it's Christmas, they've been offering gifts. And it's new tools that have been released. And we've been collecting them and thinking about how we're going to use them. Is there anything coming through yet? I think he's still looking.
Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite tool?
Wow, that's a great question, Aaron. I would have to say that the Chat GPT type functions, where it allows me to create written text and improve it, that's been probably my most used tool. I know that Jesse writes code, and he's working on our websites, and I'm watching him just let AI do the coding at this point. It's remarkable what it's able to generate.
Wasn't one of the new tools an Excel? Like it integrates with Excel and I think Google Drive too.
Don't know. Was it, guys?
I think I was trying to remember if that was one of them. If anybody has used it in our office yet.
Most likely, yeah. I use Photoshop all the time, just like you guys. And there are Photoshop tools that are they're AI tools being inserted into Photoshop, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I've been noticing Adobe having a lot of updates lately.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of AI related stuff.
The other day I was in Word, at least our version, and there was some AI functionality in that as well. So yes, I'm enjoying all of it actually. And, there isn't enough time in the day to experiment with all of it. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
It's like we've got a millennia of new tools available now. And,
well, and a lot of it is just, opening it up and using it yourself. I mean, there's not a lot of tutorials or even like jumping on YouTube and seeing if somebody's, done a tutorial on it yet, where like there's a lot of like stuff for Photoshop and Premiere where you can like, hey, how do I do this again? And you can find like a dozen videos on it. This is so new. It's a lot of people haven't done anything on it yet.
Yeah, good point. That was the first time I sneezed on air. Did you guys notice that, or did you miss that?
It was a good one.
I could not resist. Sometimes you can, stave them off, but in this case, I couldn't. Anything on those 7 gifts yet, Jesse?
I don't see anything. I think that's probably done.
It's done. Okay. All right. So Meta, Zuck's company, is joining Musk's legal war over OpenAI's for-profit shift. And apparently they're uniting against OpenAI for this profit model. In a letter to California Attorney General Rob Bonta, Meta accuses OpenAI of weaponizing its nonprofit status for financial gain, warning that this could set a dangerous precedent for the AI industry. Musk has also filed legal injunctions, and he echoes these concerns. So we were asking before the podcast, why is Zuck jumping into the fray? Probably to curb the competition. That would be our guess, at least. But in the meantime, that one made the headlines.
It is kind of interesting because it feels like lately, since Trump has been, since he's our president-elect, it feels like he's kind of doing a 180 on a lot of stuff and is kind of like, hey, guys, don't forget about me. I still like you guys. And like he's kind of doing a little bit of sucking up a bit. So I was wondering if this is more of a political move, or do you really think, Zuckerberg actually believes in this?
So he's feeling left out, you're thinking?
Yeah, or because it feels like a couple years ago they had some censorship issues and they kind of attacked Trump, according to Trump, and then now it feels like they're kind of softening that stance a little bit and trying to get in good with them.
It's got to be tough too, because this is the day and age of the nerds. When I was in my formative years in high school, it was the jocks that ruled everything. And the nerds were pretty much relegated into the background because they weren't cool enough. They didn't drive the cool cars. They didn't get all the girls, all of that stuff. This is the day and age of nerds. They are the dominant force. And I think there's some social awkwardness that comes with pushing people that have a nerd background into the limelight like this. They're not used to it. Jocks relish in it, if they in high school, for example, they were probably on the football team, and they got a lot of glory, and they got a lot of attention as a result of that. The nerds typically had the thick glasses, the pocket protectors, the slide rules, and they stayed in the background. So I find it humorous that now it's the day and age of the nerds, and these guys are a little bit awkward as to how to handle this level of visibility and success.
Do you think we're seeing a shift in the actual CEO? I mean, it seemed like before you couldn't even meet with a CEO, you couldn't have access to a CEO, and now it seems like they're more accessible than ever. And then to piggyback off that topic, I mean, look at the guy who shot that CEO, healthcare guy, Luigi was the guy, was the shooter. Do you think we're seeing a shift in the CEO? And if that's the case, do you see AI becoming the new CEO, and then maybe the old CEO, like an Elon, moves into more of a PR role?
I think it depends on the industries, Aaron. In the other businesses that we're in, like power services and data center products, I'd be hard-pressed to tell you any of the CEOs of major corporations that are involved in things like that, creating products for that. But in the EV space, it seems like we have a cast of characters that have been pushed into the limelight. I mean, even the Mary Barras, for example, or the Jim Farleys, are mostly in the limelight. And then you have guys like the NVIDIA CEO, Jensen Huang, who may or may not be a nerd, but it just seems like in this rapidly evolving industry, we've got a lot of people that are pushed into the limelight, and they're realizing it's kind of fun to be in that limelight. In the old, stable, incumbent industries, I'm not sure that you're able to, get that kind of personality to emerge from those companies. I mean, do you guys know the CEO of BMW, for example? Most people don't, but yet in the EV space, it seems like we all know the notable or the leaders in those fields. Now, let me go another direction. Does a charismatic individual typically make a good CEO? I don't think so. I think that CEOs that are successful, and I'm not talking about Elon Musk now, there are exceptions to this, by the way, are typically people that are good team builders. And they're not interested in the limelight. They're interested in promoting and pushing their people into the limelight. And so I think that, boy, it was a long that was a long answer to your question. Did that answer it in any way?
Yeah, the only thing I would maybe ask again would be the AI aspect. Like, do you see AI stepping into more of a traditional, old school CEO role, and then the actual CEO human kind of moving into like a PR president or public figure type role instead of being that old school CEO?
Well, short term and long term, I think we're on the cusp of a major change in that the people that we tend to deify and revere in the future are not going to be humans. With AGI, for example, and AI becoming more intelligent than humans and becoming more visible and eventually running companies, we're going to have these avatars. We're going to have these machines that we begin to revere, anthropomorphize to some extent, perhaps. But I think that humans will be relegated to, into the dustbin at some point in time when it comes to that kind of popularity and visibility. Take even pop culture, for example. Right now, you can get a Taylor Swift, who is not exactly an intellectual, but she is one of the most famous people on this planet, for reasons that are really kind of, you have to grasp for reasons, all right? If you like the music, fine, yeah, deify, go for it. But if you're not into that type of music, I'm not sure what value that individual has compared to, somebody from the last century that changed humanity. Einstein, for example, some of the Nobel Prize winners. Elon Musk, for example, with all of the crazy stuff that he does, but ushers in for humanity. And I think in the future, those types of functions are going to be replaced by machines. They will be avatars. They will, maybe they'll look human, maybe they won't. Maybe it'll be necessary for them to look human to be effective to bring in these new things. Again, a long answer to a short question. Jensen Huang, we just mentioned him, right? He unveiled a new NVIDIA chip called Jetson Orin Nano Super. It's an optimized for on-device AI processing in robots. Now, this little chip, and do I have a picture of it here? No, I don't think I brought one with me here. I was supposed to have. Sorry about that, guys. Let me see if this is it. Sometimes my screen, nope, that is not it. All right, never mind. Let's get rid of that one. So his company came out with a chip. It's basically a GPU for robots. And remember, GPUs typically cost $34,000, right? This thing is $249. It boasts 70 trillion operations per second. It has 102 gigabytes of memory and bandwidth, and it only consumes 25 watts of power. Now, the first thing that hit me here was a human brain is supposed to be 30 watts of power consumption, right? It looks like robots are 25 watts at this point, if this GPU for the robot is actually all that is required to make it think and function. So NVIDIA, again, at the forefront of technology in this case, but what a massive price difference between $34,000 and $250, literally. So if you're interested in that, check that out, NVIDIA, and call the Jetson Orin Nano Super. Instagram, PYGKLB, joined us. Thanks for joining us. I worked at AMD, he says, when Jerry Sanders was CEO. He was certainly the face of the company. I recall that as well. I worked for Digital Equipment Corporation for 10 years, and it was Ken Olsen that was the face of the company. But he wasn't one of those people that was out there in the limelight, going to functions and promoting his company. He was back at corporate in the typical garb that a nerd would wear, running, the company and building teams. All right. So here's an interesting one. In China, they are using robots now in law enforcement. And the article reads something like this: if you thought the threat of police robots died with the demise of New York subway bot, you'd be wrong. A new rolling robot has been sent into the field in China. And I'm going to bring up a video for you guys, and we'll take a look at this. Oh, come on. All right, let's try this again. Sorry, folks. I use Photoshop, and it fails me at times. Can social media perhaps bring up this link to the... oh, wait a minute. I got it. All right, never mind. It was mouse movement. All right, I'm going to bring that up on my browser here, and we're going to be able to see this robot and how it functions. And anybody that has any criminal intentions should probably see this as a threat. There we go. Now, this is a Chinese SWAT team. I don't think that the acronym SWAT means the same thing in China. But let me move out of the way here a little bit.
So it's basically RoboCop?
Yeah, there you go. There's a good analogy. We're used to that in the with Hollywood having created that. Now, what this thing will do, and here, you got to watch carefully here now. It's going to apprehend a threat. Notice that net that it throws out? So let's look at some of the specs on this thing. It comes with the net-throwing guns, tear gas, and can pursue suspects at up to 22 miles an hour. That's pretty damn fast, isn't it?
You need to mute that music. It could copyright strike us.
Oh, okay. Do that.
Just stop the video.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Thank you for pointing that out. All right. So, yeah, it is 22 miles an hour. And it's called RotunBot, R-O-T-U-N bot. And it consists of a huge rubber tire that fits around a sphere that's about 2 feet high. They show a bad guy with a bat trying to disable this thing, and it just continued to come at him. Wasn't fazed at all by that bat, and the bat eventually broke. So it's also short for RT-G. It was created by researchers at Zhejiang University on behalf of Shenzhen-based outfit called Logon Technology, L-O-G-O-N. It weighs 275 pounds, 22 miles an hour, and it takes only a few seconds to reach that speed. Doesn't say what the 0 to 60 is. That would probably be interesting. It can cope with dangers such as falling, or being beaten. And it can also, through facial recognition, do enemy identification, tracking, and capture after modular modification. So there you have it. There was something similar to this last year in New York City, and they were using a robot. Got a picture of that one. Let me bring that up for you. And it didn't look quite as menacing as this one. Let's see here. Here we go. All right. So this was in New York City subways, and it was largely unsuccessful. And here's some of the reasons. They call this the K5, fully autonomous security robot, outfitted with 4 cameras, capable of recording video but not audio. The robot could reach a maximum speed of 3 miles per hour. Remember, this other guy went 22 miles in China. This guy's going to go 3 miles an hour, and it can't walk upstairs, which, of course, in a subway tunnel is going to be a huge problem because there are a lot of stairs there. But it was useful in hospitals, warehouses, malls, and other private businesses to patrol and survey the premises. The advantage for this was ability to patrol for long hours without needing rest. The other thing that they liked was that it was operating below minimum wage at $9 per hour. And they also add it needed no bathroom breaks, no meal breaks, working 24/7 patrolling New York subway tunnels. And it reportedly cost the New York City Police Department $12,250 per year to have this guy working the subway tunnels. All right, so there you go. It looks like the robots are going to get into law enforcement again, and the movie RoboCop was probably prophetic rather than just an entertainment movie. All right. Company called Spines, Spines, plans to publish 8,000 books in 2025.
Real quick, Pete, if you
Yeah.
want to go ahead and look at the comments, there's a bunch regarding those robots.
Oh, here we go. YouTube. Rainish Kumar says, hello. Yes, I am using AI robot. There you go. We'd love to hear more about that. Captain Hype off X says, looks a bit like a useless ball. One door closed, done, up the staircase, gone. You know, look at some of the movies or the videos that are associated with this Chinese ball robot. And it's pretty impressive. It's going through rough terrain. It's going through commercial buildings. Yeah, definitely sobering. YouTube PYGKLB says it's Rover from The Prisoner. You remember that show? My God, that was when I was in high school. I loved that movie, The Prisoner. It was a British guy that was stuck on an island and couldn't escape. YouTube Sun Turtle Camper, he says, I hate war. Man, I echo that sentiment. It's like the song in the 60s by Edwin Starr. War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. And we've got a video that we're going to release at some point that talks about the disadvantages of war and the absurdity of humans killing each other. YouTube PYGKLB, and just like the Daleks, Daleks. Is that
it's from Doctor Who. Daleks are actually aliens inside of robotic exoskeletons, more or less.
Yeah.
And you can literally defeat them by just going upstairs because they can't go up the stairs.
Oh, how cool is that? Okay. So until they get robots that can traverse stairs, it looks like we're safe for a while. Well, thank you, PYGKLB, and thank you, Cass, for updating me on something. YouTube, Sun Turtle Camper. Hello from Denmark. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. We have a Tesla Roadster customer in Denmark right now that's got a brick Roadster, and we're trying to figure out how to get his car running again. YouTube, Sun Turtle Camper also says, don't kick the robot. Yes. All right. So this book company, Spines, they charge authors between $1,200 and $5,000 for AI editing, proofreading, formatting, and designing and distribution. It looks like books and authorship is going to shift over to the machines before too long. All right. Let's take a look at some of the other items that we have here. I've got a couple of robots here that, whoops, it looks like I need to get back to a different section in my, there we go. All right. ChatGPT is now on your phone, by the way. And here was an article that talks about its capabilities. And of course, with it being able to be your eyes or be eyes through your phone lens, it now is able to see everything that you're seeing, comment on it, dissect it, help you discern what it is. And there's this one cool program that actually takes a picture of a plant and it can tell you what's wrong with it. Overwatered, underwatered, needs basil leaves, whatever it is. It's just crazy what it can do. Then we have the robot that actually, can you guys see that? Are they seeing what's on my screen, Jesse? Yeah. Here's a robot. Basketball playing robot sinks a record-breaking 80-foot shot. But unlike the last basketball game you saw, maybe the Harlem Globetrotters, this robot does it consistently over and over and over again with complete precision. So the real question here is, will humans eventually decide that they want to see robots playing basketball, or will it still be humans making mistakes? There's a good question. What if the robots can consistently sink baskets? Then where would the gamemanship come in? Where would the unpredictability come in, which is part of sports, right? All right, Aaron, you're going to have to think about that. I know I got you thinking on this one.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I want to see robots in human sports.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, there's BattleBots. BattleBots is kind of like robot boxing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah, but I mean, it's not a human fighting a robot. It's robots against robots, ran by humans.
Yeah.
But what if basketball robots were run by humans like BattleBots?
That would be called Nintendo.
All right. I agree. It could be called that. So anyway, going through my all right, here's another one, Jesse. I want to bring this one up. And we won't do the audio so we avoid the potential copyright infringements. Am I able to bring this full screen? There we go. Oh, we've got audio. All right. Let me mute that completely. What we're seeing here is Uncanny Valley Cast, and I thought of you immediately when I saw this. These are two robots that are discussing things, and you can see from their facial expressions, very, very human-like. It's a short clip, granted, but this is the kind of technology that is beginning to evolve with AI.
Disney should put these on their rides, like the Pirates of the
Yeah, good
Caribbean,
point.
and just have AI robots in there.
Disney has some really good robotics. Adding the movements of the faces would make it even more magical, according to Disney.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point of going there and spending all that money on those tickets. Got an image here we can pop up. This one kind of drove it home for me. Humanity researches AI. Okay, humanity perfects AI. AI perfects itself. AI enslaves humanity. Solar flare disables AI. Humans begin worshiping the sun god. Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you for joining us for another AI session. I'm Pete Gruber. We'll see you next week, same time, same channel.